everyone. Welcome to the second episode of this exclusive IIC DJSC podcast. I am your host Anish Shetty, and today we'll be talking about all things communication. And who would be a better guest than Professor Shirley Matthew? She's been teaching in DJ Sangvi for more than 20 plus years now, and she has authored the books Communication Skills and Professional Communication and Ethics, which we have all read in our first years to ace ECS subjects. So, and also, ma'am has also been winning the 100-meter sports day running race since the past 20 years. We all know about the teaching part, ma'am. We are all inspired by you for the communication. But this special inclination towards fitness, you need to tell us more about it.
Well, actually, this is something which I got into a little later in life. And the whole thing came about because of a health checkup that I went through, and the parameters that, of fitness was not met. And I felt that, I should work on it. And that's how probably that got me into fitness. And about the running race, it's probably something about DJ Sangvi that sparked this interest in running, because I was never, an athlete in school or college years. So something about that which brought that running bit about.
That's truly right, I guess. DJ Sangvi always brings out the best in you. But ma'am, for so long, it's quite inspirational, because even as students, we can do that. We are not interested, and you have kept it up going. So many batches and teachers also. It's quite impressive and inspirational, ma'am.
Thank
So,
you.
ma'am, coming to the main part, like you have been teaching for so many years, and you have seen so many batches graduate. And you are teaching and emphasizing about communication, presenting, and all that in such a technical hell of a college. People are coding, they're building things and all that, and you're here. You are telling ki be good at this, be good at expressing yourself. Like, how has that journey been?
Actually, the perception of communication, I feel has changed even with the students. I would say the perception changes over the course of 4 years. Initially, when the subject is introduced to them, they're not too sure of what the subject is about, whether it's going to be useful to them. But in the course of 4 years, they see a lot of changes in them as a result of the subject and the communication skills aspect. Especially people think communication is all about speaking. But actually, it's about, 4 areas. It's speaking, listening, reading, and writing. And we have an extension of the subject again in the third year. So students are continuously exposed to the knowledge part. They also practically get to implement this in the classes, of course. But other than that, in the 4 years of college, they get to practically implement all the skills that we are teaching, to them. So towards the end of the year, after 4 years, students come back with the feedback, of how the subject has really helped them. So be it giving presentations in college, participating in different committees, talking to people, marketing, then even, for their hackathons also, they have shared how this has really proved useful. Then for placements or for getting into universities. So the different aspects of communication has helped them, and they come back with the feedback. So I've realized that, yes, whatever, maybe 20 years back or even now, students over a course of time, they realize the importance and they get to apply a lot of these skills in college itself.
Yes, of course. And ma'am said about the 4 things. If you guys don't remember, this is in the ECS textbook that ma'am has authored. So go back and read it again. It is quite important for your future. And ma'am, also there is a huge paradigm shift between the post-COVID and the pre-COVID area. So what do you think? Which batches were better in what areas, and like how?
In fact, I would like to talk about the changes that happened after the pandemic and the challenges that students faced. So after the pandemic, what I realized was, because in pandemic, students were used to online lectures. Online lectures meant that you could dress up the way you want. You could be in pajamas the whole day. You could attend lectures in casual clothes. You could lie down. You could snack during a lecture happening. And plus, because you were on mute all the time, you never had to speak up. So they had got very comfortable being behind the scene. And then when things, got back to normal and students had to attend classrooms, they found this shift a little unnerving. So the transitional period, the batches which came immediately after COVID, they felt, that difference. And initially, we sensed a lot of hesitation in students, where they didn't want to come forward. We had to actually pull them up for dressing properly in the right clothes, following the proper etiquette when they're sitting in the classroom. So there was this kind of a shift. But here, I would also like to point out that, of course, we had our students, pre-COVID who have done well, who have shared that. But even as teachers, sometimes we were doubting the efficacy of this online medium, and we were wondering whether this is really helping the students. So I would just like to share one of, the incidents, like, last week when one of our students who was from this online batch, this was the first batch online for the third year students. And the student, he is an EXTC student, and he is already graduated now. So he came and shared this experience, and he was their batch was the first online batch. So we had this topic business proposal, so where they had to present an idea in class in a team. So their team they presented the idea really well, and they were appreciated by classmates as well as me, gave them good feedback for it. So even it was in that period, but as a team, when things opened up, they wanted to take that idea forward. So they actually approached Tata Memorial, explained the idea to them, and they got funding for the idea, and they implemented that in several municipal schools. So it was a social initiative, and they got funding for it, and they carried that idea forward. So that shows that even if it was like an online but how students have even developed an idea out of it. And not only that, he came specially to say, because to express that kind of feeling that communication really helped him, because this idea helped him even to get into an Ivy League university. So he got into Cornell University, and he shared how he had mentioned about this experience of this proposal that they carried forward, and the social initiative which really impressed them. And we also in the class, we had discussed this whole new concept of a video resume, of how you nowadays people would want to see you express your skills and talk about your achievements on camera. So he shared how he had to actually even as a part of the process of the interview to the university, he had to actually explain all that, talk about it. So the tips that were shared to him, like how to face the camera, how do you present yourself, how do you use voice modulation, all that also was really useful. So basically, whether pre-pandemic, post-pandemic, the ones I feel, the students who really want to take something out of the subject and use it, they've always used it.
So basically, it doesn't matter where or when you're from. If you want to do it, you will do it.
Exactly.
And it's useful in all types of careers. Like if you want to go to masters, or if you're aspiring to be an entrepreneur or something, communication is the need of all careers, right?
Right. And here I would like to add that pre-pandemic, one of my earliest years, like probably 10, 15 years back, one of our students from IT, Kruti Parekh, she in fact switched her career. She's a magician and plus a mentalist, and she's Asia's first woman mentalist. And she has also shared how even doing something like this, and she's traveled across different countries, met prime ministers, presidents of different countries. She shared about how connecting with the audience, so even a field like something like this, which is so much like it's unheard of. She has her own magic academy, and she runs a course even the University of Mumbai. So something like that also, it requires talking to people, communicating, facing an audience. So really, it's everywhere.
It's everywhere. Okay, so ma'am, now you have students, in our colleges there are hackathons held every day. You see people running up and down, organizing all that. So in hackathons, of course, the main crux is coding. You need to make a product, but when you come into the final round, you have to present it in front of the judges, and whoever presents it the best always wins. So ma'am, I have a lot of students, my colleagues and all, they are like, how do you present it? How do you do it, ma'am? What would be your advice for this? Like, what would be the best way?
So for this, again, I would like to share an experience which was shared by one of my students, Hetvi Solanki, and her, team. They had gone for, and she's won, I think, 10 hackathons, more than 10 hackathons. So the experience that she shared was that sometimes you might realize that when you're, developing a product, so you might have teams with a similar kind of idea.
Yes, sir.
So when it comes to technical expertise, so you would find that probably there are people like, at par.
Yes.
What makes you a differentiator is your communication skills. So basically connecting with the judges, and how do you connect with the judges? Through your body language. When you stand in front of them, you show good teamwork, everybody being on the same page. You stand with them with a confident body language. You use the right gestures. When you're talking, your voice should reflect that sincerity and
Yeah.
confidence. And the semantics of the judges, you have to reflect that in your talk. So this becomes very important. So even to show when you're explaining the process behind the entire thing, how did it go? So when you're able to do that well, your team stands out. So
Yeah.
this is very important. So, and it will obviously, it's not that only one day prior to the hackathon you're going to work on all this. This is a very gradual process, and right from the first year of college, you are to start working on these skills so that you can apply it in whichever field you wish to, whatever aspect, whether it's a hackathon or a job interview or for, applying for universities, you can apply it anywhere. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not different. It's only that the avenues are different, but the skills are the same.
You have to mold it accordingly.
Yes, right.
That's great. That's great. Now, ma'am, I had a few of my friends had me asking you this question. We have been taught how to write a letter since school, and since each year we have seen the pattern changing. When you're in school, it's like the sender's address is on the left and the receiver's on the right. You leave 2 finger space for each paragraph and you write it in a very clean and neat way.
Mm.
Once you came into college, we were learning ECS and it's like everything on the left, keep it short and simple, no spaces, and that's it. So why does it keep changing every year? It's very like it makes us scratch our head. Like why is the pattern of the letter changing every year?
It's a common peeve of all the students.
Yeah.
But what I would like to say to this is change is the only constant in life. When scientific theories have changed over the years, earlier students probably would have to study that the earth is flat, and after the entire lot, then the next day the earth is now like spherical.
Yeah.
So we see how even whether it's a scientific theory or whether it's nutritional information, like earlier coconut oil was considered to be so bad for health.
Yeah.
And now it's a new superfood. So there are things which keep changing. So literary conventions also are similar. So people experiment, they try to see, what is the best way to do it. And people want to, in fact, reduce now the effort that comes even with a simple thing like letters. So when we have the complete block format that
Yeah,
you've
block
studied,
format.
everything left indented. So that becomes very easy when it comes to type it out, or whatever. So conventions keep changing. Not only that, you will see different continents follow probably different styles.
Yeah.
So that's something which we'll have to, we
But
can't avoid.
ma'am, does the way you write the address really matter, or is it just the content that really matters overall?
See, the content reflects, it's the thing in totality. Okay, like suppose you say when a person is talking to you, the person might be talking a lot of sense, but he's not dressed appropriately, he
Right.
doesn't display the correct body language. So we can't just isolate the content part. It's all a part of a package.
Okay.
So you would always want to present things, well in a complete package rather than these isolated parts.
Yeah.
So that's why work on the whole thing. Why you only want to, work on one
Yeah,
aspect.
good. We are engineers, of course, in DJ family, and we have got this popular perception. Key engineers are good at imagining, they're good at getting ideas, but they are really bad at expressing things. What's your take on this?
I wouldn't restrict this perception just to the engineers. It could be anybody.
Yeah.
So what happens is right from us, in our education, we are focusing on the written aspect, writing all the time. Even if you look back at school, like most of, the assessments that happen, everything is on the written parameter. And very few opportunities are given to every student to actually express themselves orally. So that's why that remains a little underdeveloped. So because of that, when the opportunity comes wherein you have to speak to people, you have to talk to people, things don't come across well. So it's just a matter of practice and developing that skill. So you have to give yourself more platforms to express yourself in an oral manner, in verbally, so that you manage to polish that skill.
We see that now when you take lectures, you call up students to speak on the platform. They're a bit hesitant. So do you think it's a bit late to start at this age, or should it be like started from right when you were children or something like that?
it's never too late to start anything, is what I firmly believe. The moment you get the realization that I need to improve my skills, be it whatever skills, that is a good moment to start. So your journey should not be compared to anybody, else who has started a long time back. At that, then you might feel you started late. So without comparing, if you just look at your own journey and progress from the time you have started, I think that's definitely good enough. So you just keep practicing, and DJ Sangvi gives you a lot of opportunities to try out these skills. So make use of them.
And while you speak, when you're presenting to a panel or a judge or something like that, is it necessary that we use jargon for some complex word, or is it the simplicity of the language that matters, the idea that you're expressing? What's your take on it?
Now, jargon, if it is used just to impress somebody, so words should be used to express and not to impress.
Yeah.
So the moment you have an idea that I have to impress somebody, your motive of communication changes. So you have to just express it the way you can. So if your intentions are good, everything, your ideas will flow naturally. So the keep in mind what is your intention and just stick to that and convey what is there in your heart, what you truly believe in, and express freely.
Okay. I just came up with this. Nowadays, we have AI, ChatGPT and all, and we have students copy pasting assignments. So, do you think that the use of AI, especially in subjects like ECS and business communication, is it appropriate, or should it be like just not allowed at all?
Now, AI is a what you would say. Now, whenever we talk about new technology,
Yeah.
new developments, there are always pros and cons.
Yeah, of course.
So, if you are blindly using AI all the time, and if you become excessively dependent on AI, and you're not able to even write a single sentence on your own, or if you have to draft a mail, so for assignments, students might copy,
Yeah.
or they might do that and get away with it. But you can't do that in each and every situation. Tomorrow you're working in a professional environment. Every opportunity you can't go back to AI. So somewhere that lack of practice or the lack of skill will be reflected. So I think rather than an external banning of something, judiciously people should decide how much of it is to be used and how often. So that regulation, if it comes from an individual himself, that will be much better than any kind of external regulation.
So taking help and taking it as a reference is good, but not completely just putting it the same way.
Right, right.
So, ma'am, lastly, I'd like to ask you. You just told that this is not a process which happens in a single day. So, like, what are the things that we can do in a day-to-day life to get better at expressing ourselves, speaking, or even presenting to a huge crowd? What are the small things that we can do every day to get better at communication overall?
Okay. So here it's a good question that because we always think of changes as in terms of
Yeah.
big changes,
Yes.
something huge that can be done. But changes always start at a very, very small level. Each small step that you do. So first thing is not to compare your journey, as I said earlier, not to compare it with anybody else. When you start, so if you are a person, depends on where you are in your journey. Some people might already have exposure of talking in front of people, but there might be some who are totally new. So I've known students who have never ever faced a public ever, so they might really not be used to this idea. So for such a student, even a small step like being a part of a committee, being a part of a team, going to people, talking to them, or probably going out talking to people, that would also be a small step to start with. So eventually you start building from there. So first, try to concentrate, focus on the smaller circle, because this is a very fertile ground that DJ offers. It's really fertile, and so anybody who decides to make use of it can grow exponentially.
Opportunities everywhere.
Right. So start small. Start from what you see around you. Then gradually you can build it up. You can then probably even think of approaching people outside. You can think of probably even coming in front of an audience, speaking to them. So that those are bigger steps. Without doing the smaller ones, if you directly jump on something very big, you might get overwhelmed, intimidated, and it might discourage you. So start small, look around you, and gradually progress.
And do you think like taking part in non-technical departments in committees and all, where you are not playing the technical role, but in like publicity, marketing events, do they help in communication and all that?
every small thing helps in communication.
Yeah.
Every small thing. See, when we talk about communication, it's also soft skills, like, working in a team.
Yes.
Because sometimes we are so the competition gets to us, and everybody is interested in improving their marks, and it's at an individual level. But tomorrow, when you're working in a corporate environment, or probably you want to be an entrepreneur, you want to start your own business, you require a team, you require people. So if you don't develop that skill of being around with people, communicating with them, then things really won't, succeed for you. So definitely, you can, at whichever step you take, whether it's a part of a technical committee or anything, or you take a small initiative in class, whatever, every single step contributes. And it's like a drop which gradually adds up,
Yeah.
and every drop goes on to make an ocean. So it's just that.
Okay, so thank you so much, ma'am, for being on this IIC DJC podcast. It was a great pleasure having you here and talking to you. We learned a lot of things from you. So that's all. We'll see you next time.
My pleasure. I love to be on this
Yeah.
talk. Thank you so much for inviting me. I had a great time. Thank you.